Well, good afternoon, everyone. Back with some progress report or a progress report on this particular piece. I haven't done a video about this thing in quite some time. In fact, I'm not exactly sure, but the last time I was talking about this piece, I hadn't done any of the wisteria yet. Anyway, I've gotten this cluster done along here, and then I'll refresh your memory with this whole piece. Back to the beginning, we have yellow flowers. There's 5 flowers, and then there's some vine. Here's the vine work coming up out of the ground, and then there's all kinds of vine work going on all in this piece with all these leaves that have a complementary yellow and green. This stuff is really beautiful in the light. Here's, of course, you can't see what it looks like. Anyway, we go on up this piece, and there's 2 wisteria clusters in the right-hand up side, and then one more here, which I'm getting ready to take off on. So I thought, well, here a week or 2 ago, I did the finished soldering, or the completed soldering on the bottom of this cluster, pardon me, just to show you what it looks like. Now, it's still got to have patina applied to it, which I'm not sure. We'll probably have black patina, so all these lines will appear to be real dark gray or black. But anyway, the cutting itself, you can see here all the different sizes and shapes, and each piece is cut and wrapped with a thin strip of copper. The idea here is to have as few voids or as few spaces between the glass as possible, because what that means is you've done a real good job of cutting that piece to fit that particular spot. And then, of course, it affects the piece next to it, and, of course, the piece next to it. So it's all about kind of building a jigsaw puzzle piece by piece. And so I didn't solder this to show you what it looks like underneath it before it is soldered. And then we come up here, and I have done a little deal here where I can move this piece out and show you what it looks like. Let me turn this light box on. There we go. Show you what this sort of looks like. In the sunlight, it's going to look different, and then with all the other glass around it, it's going to look different. And I didn't do any of the finished soldering up on this particular section, so you could see the kind of the bones of this thing. You know, there's a lot of small glass. Each one of these pieces is cut to fit that spot. This gap here means that's going to be filled with solder, so that when you're standing back from this window 10, 15, 20, 30 feet, whatever, that will appear dark like a stem. And here I did a little bit of the finished soldering on this particular vine here just to show what it looks like. Here it is. That's where it terminates or stops. It comes under here and goes back out this way, and then it goes under the trellis here. Excuse me. Under the trellis and down back under the trellis again, over the trellis. Anyway, so here I separated these out and I didn't solder. Watch this. Let me back up here. Look at there. We can pull that out, and it gives me now I'll go ahead and I'll probably do all of this work down in here and continue to have this separate so I can look at it and see if I like the way it's going. And there's some cool things going on in this background glass. I'll show you in just a second. So let's pick this up. And this way, see, the trellis is a real strong green with some streaks of grayish brown in it. And now this stem glass, or limb glass rather, is not showing up here real good, but it will under some other light. Let's try it over here. Still not show up too good there. Anyway, in strong light, that is a real beautiful brown and green. I'm going to put this back before I break it. Here we go. Okay, and show you what goes on. I've just been working on this piece right here. And this piece is this background glass that I'm using. Oh, I got it. It's more or less, here it is right here. I was looking around for it. It's right under me. There it is. So this is the background glass. And of course it's supposed to look like cloud foliage. Look, there's some chips of color in there. And that's the background glass that we're using here, here, and all in behind here. And then here, we got out here and we used less foliage going on in the background because we're trying to come out of the area where this big branch is. And this big branch, I would grab that piece. Here it is. It might show up better here. That bit, yeah, it does. It's hard to see on the little piece. That big branch glass that we couldn't figure out the color of it a while ago, it's coming up out of this brown and green part of this sheet right here. Look at this. Isn't this fun? If you had something this beautiful to work with. This is some really good looking glass. And so right now, I just finished up these leaves here, cutting those. And then I'm going to put, this is another piece of the background glass, and it'll probably be like this one, just about nothing, just the white, not anything going on behind it. And then I'll probably keep going right here and get this back up so you can see what I'm doing. Probably keep going just right here because I'm on kind of a roll with this leaf glass. And that leaf glass, I'm working off this sheet. So what you do here is you kind of look at the leaf and decide if you want it to be lighter or darker, and then you just work off that part of the sheet that replicates what you want to do with that leaf. And I usually break these leaves into two. It would certainly be easier. These are all cut out of one piece of glass. Let me get my hand here. These are all cut right here. These two pieces are cut out of one piece of glass, and here's out of one piece of glass, and here's out of one piece, and here's out of one piece. Anyway, and I'm deciding when I put them in here with the light box and such that what I want that leaf to look like. And then this is cool. This background piece that I've been working on to get it to fit right into this area here. Look at the back of it. Isn't that cool? So just that little bit of detail right there makes a difference. You know, if you start really concentrating, let's get what? Look here, we're going to play this game now. There it went. Yeah, that's it. All right. You start working with this stuff, and you concentrate on each single piece at a time, and you make it, there we go, you make it or build it to the best of your ability. And I can change my mind on this design. In fact, look how many times, I don't know if you can see this, look at all the different ways this design has been drawn. And so you kind of, some of this stuff I kind of change on the fly here as I go with it, and I don't like the way it looks, or I do like it. So anyway, I'm generally working to try to please myself every step of the way here. And, you know, this is kind of like a watercolor artist in some respects, is that as a watercolor artist, when you lay that color down on that watercolor paper, it's there. You can't get rid of it. With an oil painter, you can terp it off, get it off, cover it up with something else. But as a watercolor artist, when you put it on the paper, there it is. So this is the kind of the same thing. Once you make a commitment to this stuff and you decide that's the piece you want, well, you put it in there and it's there forever. And when you look at the window when it's finished, that's when you decide, and I think all of us that do this kind of work are in the same school here, but that's when you decide if it's up to what you wanted it to be. And I don't know, there's a lot of disappointment that goes along with these because you see things, well, I should have gone that way, I should have used that glass, I should have used this glass, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, after doing this for many years, I just keep trying to swing for the fences and hope that this work turns out to be as pretty as I hope it is. Anyway, I'm enjoying it. This is a lot of fun. And, you know, it keeps me working all the time. Boy, this is going to be a beautiful window. I still got a ways to go. This is a minefield here. I'm going this, I'll finish this right here and then back over to here and come across right in here. Then we'll go out here and start working on these magnolia. And I did bring this up so people have an idea what's going on here. This magnolia bush, tree, whatever it is, right here, there's a whole bunch of magnolia flowers that are all covered up with my light box and pieces of glass. But here's this drapery glass, and this stuff's just non-existent. Only the people that have bought this from some wholesaler or got it some way or another from someone else are the only people that have this stuff. And I don't have all that much. I think I have a sheet, plus this is a, half sheet. This is not even half sheet anymore. Anyway, this stuff is gold to me, and gold to a whole lot of other people. And there's certainly a couple of glass companies that could make this stuff, but I think it's real labor intensive. And so when I get started with this stuff and lay it into this piece, I'll show you how you cut it. And I just am blessed to have it. I'm telling you, it's beautiful. I tried to get more of it before you couldn't get it anymore. But it's been I think it's 5 or 6 years since it's been made. Nobody makes it. So I wish somebody would. And then if somebody decided to make it, they would be so overrun with orders that I never would get it anyway. So, and then it'd go on the market. I don't know. I bet somebody could get hundreds of dollars, a whole big money for one of these sheets. Maybe 1,000 if it's the right glass. But then the artist is going to then turn this into something and, make it worth paying that price for that glass. Anyway, enough of that. I appreciate the interest in this stuff when I do it, and we got a new dog. It's on my Facebook page, so I spent a lot of attention acclimating the new dog to the environment and bringing it into the fold here. So that's what a lot of my time went to this last week or so. Boy, if you start looking at this thing and you start thinking about this thing with the sunlight behind it, and this, I fought the back and forth to try to figure out what to do with this trellis and what color to do it. And I finally decided on this glass right here. I just thought that really looked like my kind of a mossy, beautiful green streaked glass that really I thought worked. And so that's where we're going with this trellis. And there's still quite a bit of it to go here. There's going across that top bar there, and then I've still got this vertical bar here, another part of a horizontal bar down here. So anyway, this window should be just beautiful. Ooh. Well, thanks again, and if you have any questions, be sure and ask me. I check this thing pretty often. We're in this isolation now. Of course, I've been in it for a long time, 40 years. So I appreciate your interest, and I'll catch you on this next video. Bye now. Thanks.